Welcome to the Journey into Mental Health podcast. I'm your host, Desiree Duar, and I have a special guest, Dr. Amina Kenyatta. She's a board-certified psychologist with a special interest in multicultural families. Today we're talking about healing intergenerational trauma, specifically within African American families. And I am so glad to be joined by Marcus Thorne, community advocate and family mediator. Hello, Marcus. Welcome.
Thank you, Desiree and Dr. Amina. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for doing this work.
By the way, before we dive in, I want to name why this matters. Intergenerational trauma isn't just stories we tell, it's embodied. It's stress in the body, habits in relationships, ways of parenting that get passed down. Marcus, take us into the first part. Where does this trauma come from, historically and systemically?
Yeah. So when folks hear intergenerational trauma, they might think only about family arguments or a difficult childhood. But for Black families, it sits on top of history: slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, mass incarceration, unequal schooling, healthcare disparities. Those are structural wounds that shape daily life. My grandparents' silence about certain things, that was survival. But survival leaves patterns.
Okay. Dr. Amina, what are your thoughts? This is such a broad spectrum, but I'm glad we're tackling it here. It's a good start.
Hello, Marcus. Desiree. Glad to be here. Anyway, patterns, exactly. Research like Arline Geronimus's weathering concept helps explain this chronic exposure to social, economic, and political stress. Wears the body down over time. That translates into higher blood pressure, earlier onset of chronic illness, and also into psychological patterns like hypervigilance. And those patterns become family culture unless we intervene. And Desiree, I want to add, it's not just physical. The messaging, keep your head down, don't talk about it, those become rules. Kids pick up on tone, on what's unsaid. They internalize a kind of guardedness that later shows up as distrust or difficulty expressing vulnerability.
Let's name some of the silent symptoms listeners might recognize. Marcus, from your mediation work, what often shows up in households that ties back to trauma?
Oh, a lot. One is hypervigilance. Family members always on edge, scanning for threat, even when there isn't an immediate danger. Another is emotional constriction. People don't name sadness or fear. They might jump to anger instead. There's also rigid roles: the strong one who can't show weakness, the caretaker who sacrifices until they burn out. And then there's a kind of shame. People think something is wrong with them rather than seeing the historical roots.
Right. Clinically, we see PTSD symptoms that present atypically, not just flashbacks, but chronic anxiety, irritability, sleep disruption, and somatic complaints, stomach pain, headaches that don't always get linked back to trauma. And because mental health stigma runs deep in our community, folks often get labeled as angry or difficult instead of being offered trauma-informed care.
And that stigma, it keeps the cycle going. Families avoid the conversations that could help. So, doctor, how do we begin to break that silence in a way that's respectful of elders and still protects younger people?
Good question. Breaking silence requires intention and safety. Start small. Instead of a heavy 90-minute interrogation, create micro-conversations. Ask a gentle question. Mama, what was life like for you when you were a kid? Use reflective listening. It sounds like that time made you feel. And always name the purpose. I'm asking because I want to understand our family better. Framing matters. Yes. In my work, I coach families to schedule a story night, not to force trauma, but to invite stories. You set ground rules, no interrupting, no judgment, confidentiality, and allow people to pass. Also, younger folks need permission to express their feelings. I feel hurt when... And elders need permission to be seen without being defensive. It creates a container.
Could you give listeners an example script for approaching an elder who is reluctant?
Sure. Try, Grandma, I've been thinking about family stories, and I want to learn more. Would you be willing to tell me about your childhood? I might have questions, and it's okay if you don't want to answer. Short, humble, and gives them control. If they shut down, respect it and try again later.
That's helpful. And if someone says, "We don't talk about that stuff," respond with validation, not confrontation. I get that. I know it was hard. My goal is connection, not to upset you. Often hearing that reduces defenses.
Right. And sometimes people need other entry points. Music, food, or family photos can unlock memory without forcing language. I once had a grandmother start talking about her life after her son played an old gospel record. The tears came, but so did stories that changed the family's understanding.
Beautiful. Let's shift to healing modalities that honor culture. Clinical therapy helps, but it's not the only path. Marcus, what community-based practices have you seen that really work?
So many. Faith communities can be powerful when they adopt trauma-aware approaches, like pastoral counseling that collaborates with therapists. Community circles and healing retreats where people practice storytelling and ritual are effective. There's also group therapy at barber shops and beauty salons, culturally familiar spaces where conversations feel safer. And don't forget ancestral practices. Naming ancestors, creating altars, or family rituals that reclaim history can be profoundly reparative.
Yes, culturally competent therapy is crucial. Therapists who understand systemic racism, historical trauma, and the cultural context of Black families. There are national resources, organizations like the Black Emotional and Mental Health Collective, BEAM, Therapy for Black Girls, and directories that help you find clinicians who center cultural competence. And clinically, trauma-focused therapies such as cognitive processing therapy, EMDR, and somatic approaches can be adapted to honor an individual's cultural identity.
I want to flag something practical. Not everyone has access to a therapist who specializes in this. So use community resources, peer support groups, trauma-informed workshops at local YMCAs or churches, and online groups led by Black therapists. Also, look for clinicians who offer sliding scale fees, telehealth, or community mental health centers that provide trauma-informed care.
Good point. And when you're working with a therapist, it's okay to ask direct questions. Have you worked with intergenerational trauma in Black families? How do you include culture in treatment? Your comfort and trust matter. They really do.
Absolutely. Now, how do families actually change daily patterns, the small things that create a legacy of wellness?
Start with rituals and routines that shift automatic responses. Teach emotion language early. When I saw you leave, I felt worried. Model asking for help. Practice grounding techniques as a family simple breathing exercises, naming 5 things you can see to come back into the present, or a short gratitude check-in. These build emotional regulation skills.
Also, restructure the narrative. Instead of "we survive," add "we heal." Create a family wellness plan. Designate someone to check in weekly. Create a list of preferred coping tools. Decide how you'll handle conflict. For example, take a 20-minute break, then return to the conversation. Make mental health as routine as brushing teeth.
I like that. A family wellness plan. Include practical items, emergency calming strategies, therapist contacts, and an intergenerational meeting schedule. And put culture at the center. Cook family meals. Tell ancestral stories. Celebrate resilience moments. These acts change the family story from endure to nurture.
One of the things I tell families: be patient with change. Patterns rooted in decades, centuries, even won't flip overnight. Celebrate small wins. A younger person being able to say, "I'm scared," without being shamed. An elder telling one story. A parent deciding to see a therapist. Those are big.
And when setbacks happen, and they will, normalize that. Healing isn't linear. Remind each other, we've inherited coping strategies for a reason. We're not broken for using them. We're learning alternatives that keep us safe and connected.
Dr. Amina, can we talk about boundaries while protecting mental health? This can be a sensitive area.
Yes, boundaries are a form of self-care, not disrespect. Teach and model how to set gentle but firm limits. For example, "I love you, but I can't be spoken to that way. If that continues, I will step away for 20 minutes. It's short, clear, and enforceable. It preserves relationships while protecting mental health.
And practice scripts. Role play with a friend if you need to. It's easier to say things when you've rehearsed and know you have a backup plan.
Before we close, let's give listeners a concrete, short action plan, 3 steps they can take this week.
1. Schedule a 20-minute story time with an elder framed as curiosity, not interrogation. 2. Start a feelings check at dinner. One night each person shares one feeling, word, and why. That's it. And 3. Find one culturally competent resource, a therapist, a support group, or an online community like Therapy for Black Girls or Beam, and bookmark it. If therapy isn't accessible, find a local peer support group or a church group doing trauma-aware work. Also, practice one grounding technique daily. 5 deep breaths, box breathing, or naming 5 things you can see and hear.
Desiree and Dr. Amina, I'll add, write down one family value you want to pass on. Make it visible. On the fridge, in a group chat, name it often.
Those are practical and doable. Listeners, healing intergenerational trauma is possible, and it's a community task. It's about small, consistent changes in language, in ritual, in seeking help that together reshape the family legacy.
And remember, asking for help is strength, not weakness. When you work on this, you're not just helping yourself, you're changing the course for the next generation.
Before we sign off, Marcus, any last words you want to leave listeners with?
Yeah. Hold on to hope. It sounds simple, but hope is an action. It calls us to try again, to show up imperfectly, and to keep the conversation going. Do one brave thing this week for your family's emotional health.
Beautiful. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Dr. Amina, and thank you to everyone listening. If this episode stirred something, a memory, a question, please reach out to a trusted friend or one of the resources we mentioned. You don't have to do this alone. I'm your host, Desiree Duar. Thank you for listening and joining the Journey into Mental Health podcast. Heal gently, love loudly. I'm sure our panel today would agree, and I'd love to have them back again soon. Thank you both.
Yes, and remember to be patient with yourself. Keep telling the truth and keep building that legacy of wellness. Thank you for having us today, Desiree. It was a pleasure discussing this important topic with you as well, Dr. Amina Kenyatta. Great show.
We'll be back next week with another conversation on resilience in our communities. Until then, breathe, connect, and take care of each other. I'd love to have you back, Marcus. You are a credit to the community and a true advocate for change and improvement.
Thank you, Desiree. It was my pleasure.
Dr. Amina Kenyatta, better known as Dr. Amina, it was a pleasure having you on our podcast today. You too are a credit to our multicultural communities, especially our African American families who are generally underserved and have limited resources for outreach and support. That being said, I thank you tremendously. Please do come back for more sessions as your schedule permits. If you're new to the Journey into Mental Health podcast or have just found us, thank you for listening today. We appreciate your support and hope you found this discussion valuable. If you'd like to support our program, please consider donating. Your contributions are truly appreciated. Subscribe to stay updated on future episodes, and we look forward to connecting with you again next week. Have a wonderful day and please stay blessed. It's our goal to uplift you in our community. So, until the next podcast, bye for now. Thank you.